Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers Friday night special. It's a weekend. It's Friday, and I've got one of my very favourite podders on to join me. Amrit, how are you, mate? Are you well?
I'm fantastic, mate. Yeah, pleasure to be on again after so long. I think it was before Porto was the last time I was on a podcast, just with other things. Your life gets in the way, doesn't it? So, yeah, I've not been on for a while. So I've been looking forward to this, and I've never done a one-on-one either, Stevie. So this is the first time. So we'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, do you know what? There's something really quite annoying. I don't know if people have noticed that Twitter, or X at the moment, is how it's called, is not posting when we go live. So you're having to go in and manually do it, which is why if people think that I'm being rude and not listening, I'm not. I've just posted that online so that people know we're live and things like that. Amrit, how have you been?
Really good.
I've got a really important question for you. So, how is your jacket, mate?
Well, thanks to my amazing wee mum who watches the podcasts and supports the channel. My jacket is back and fighting fit. So yeah, thank you, mum, if you're watching. It's all stitched up and ready to go again, Stevie. I was wearing it on Sunday at the Hearts game, but the way I was jumping about, I'm surprised it didn't get ripped again, to be honest.
I'm genuinely, I still can't believe you blamed it on, by your own words, my fat ass. Because I don't even have
Stevie,
fat ass.
I'm convinced if you were 5 or 10 kilos lighter, my jacket wouldn't have got wedged in the way it did, and it would have just been able to come out quite easily, and that would have stopped it from getting ripped. But we'll never know.
Mate, you're lucky I wasn't 20 stone like I used to be.
Yeah, mate, you look great. I'm only winding you up. You look great, and you've done well to lose all that weight, so good on you.
Shocking behaviour, folks. Anyway, Amrit, let's get your take on Hearts. We haven't spoken to you since. What did you make of that matchday performance for Rangers?
I'll be honest with you, Stevie. When Hearts scored, I just went to default settings and thought, here we go again. This bunch of gutless, useless, pathetic, all those emotions that, this team's rubbish. They'll never achieve anything, the usual. Because that's the default setting. And I've become like that because over the years we've had to develop this relationship as Rangers fans with suffering and pain. And when good things happen, they never last long, and we don't expect good things to happen. So I was really, really impressed at the way that they turned it round. And I'll be honest with you, Stevie, Sunday is the first time this season that I felt with these players and Danny Rohl at the helm, is the first time that I felt, you know what, these guys could potentially do something this season, because that takes a lot of will. Because, Stevie, you've got skill, which is talent, but you've got to have phenomenal will to combine with that skill. And they fought, they dug deep, the backs were against the wall, they went down swinging, they were on their knees, and they got back up, and they didn't grab the game by the scruff of the neck, they grabbed it by the throat. It was a battle, and it was great to see that they had that confidence, that enthusiasm, and that passion to go ahead and turn that game around, not just once, but twice from behind, Stevie. That shows real character, real grit. And that's title-winning mentality for me. So I'm delighted, and I'm so happy for the players, because they really deserve that, especially after the midweek result where we were all criticising them. They didn't do well. We couldn't close the game out. It was a lot of negative stuff. And to come back after that in such a short space of time and put on that performance, and not just beating Hearts, but dominating them in every single area of the game. Hearts were not in that game, Steve. I don't care what anybody says. We were dominant, and we looked like a really good Rangers team, and I'm proud of them. So well done, guys. Come on.
It was, they answered a lot of questions, didn't they? Because we'd all questioned them when it came to the big games and the attitude of the players. But they, I thought they were terrific. Like, I genuinely did. I watched it back. I thought they were great. Really impressed by the new guys. All of them, I think, are going to be fine acquisitions for the club. 2 Romans at left back's a real favourite. Nadiri up top, I told you as soon as I seen him on Feathergate that I thought he looked terrific. So a lot of positives from Sunday, and now it's about growing. It's about taking that forward, and we have this weeks to prepare. We didn't have the luxury of getting hammered in Europe this week, so we go into Sunday reasonably fresh.
Yeah, this is the thing, Stevie. We can't get complacent. as a team now, because we've got 11 games left to the end of the season, and Danny Rohl's talking about one game at a time, one challenge at a time, and I get that, and it's important, I think, not to concentrate too much on the mountaintop effectively, which is winning the league. If we can just get the players in a place where mentally, physically, nutritionally, all these kind of influences in their life, where they're just thinking about what's happening in the immediate term. What have we got on Sunday then? What have we got next week? And what have we got the week after that? But only thinking about those things as they present themselves, because I think sometimes you can get overwhelmed with the weight of the expectation if you're always thinking, oh, we need to win the league, we need to win the league. If we win our games, that will be a natural passing of time. We will arrive at the end of the season as champions. But so I think it's about taking it in incremental stages, trying to be better each week, trying to improve each week, analysing our weaknesses, developing them and improving on them. And I believe that we have the squad to do that, Stevie. I truly believe that we have the best squad in this league. I thought that at the start of the season before we started playing. And Danny Rohl has managed somehow to launch this team out of the depths of mediocrity and into the realm of potential success. Under the last regime, Stevie, we were in a coma of average. We were living the same day and episodes repeatedly, time and time again. It was like Groundhog Day. And Danny Rohl has managed to come in and do something with these players that none of us thought was possible. And he must be commended for that. That's incredible for him to have achieved that. And we acknowledge that. But there's still much work to do. I think we draw a line under where we were, what we've achieved up to now, and we say this is like a little mini season now, 11 games. And we've got to make sure that we're concentrating on that. Yes, we acknowledge that Danny Rohl got us to where we are, but it all means nothing unless we win this league, Stevie. So I'm really excited at what's ahead for this squad and for Danny Rohl, because I believe that he is the right man to shepherd us through the remainder of the season and to the league.
It's interesting because, do you know what? Before we kind of move on and talk about Livi and things, see, for the first time in as long as I can remember, I'm actually excited about watching individuals. I really like watching Tour Romans. Manny Fernandez at the back coming up for corners and stuff like that. Can Chukwani and Raskin and Diomande in midfield, can they get something together? I want to see Skov Olsen. Kasama's always exciting. Ant-Man on the left. Mikey Moore. And then you've got Nadiri up front. And then Big Chermiti, who you never know what you're going to get. One minute he's missing the ball, the next he's stashing in a hat-trick. We've got players that are exciting. So I'm, for the first time in ages, how do I say this? Like, not only am I looking forward to watching the team, but individuals are exciting me. And I think that's a real credit to where we are at this moment. Because if you'd looked at it, Amrit, like 6 months ago, we would have laughed at it. But if you'd looked at it in December time, after Tynecastle, we all would have said, this is done. And I was talking about needing, 10, 15 players and everything else. And Danny's just slowed it all down game by game. We've actually become a better unit as a team. We can see what we're doing. Dare I say it? Old cliche, we look coached. But we do. And honestly, I'm enjoying it. I'm reluctant to get too far ahead. Livi is a big one on Sunday, and we just concentrate on that. But with regards to watching Rangers, it's actually good again. And I'm really enjoying that feeling of it. You don't go into games anymore. What's going to happen? Where's it going to come from? You look for games and you think, right, we've got him, we've got him, we've got him, we've got him. This is good. And that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, well, that's it, Stevie. It's such a good point, because we've got a lot of people now that are coming into the team through rotation, and they're making significant contributions, and everybody's fighting for the team. They all want game time, and there's a nice competitive nature, but it's a friendly nature between the players as well. And they know that Danny Rohl is operating with this rotational, resting players, managing minutes, looking at different games and analysing different games, and not having like a one-size-fits-all solution to every game, which is what Russell Martin had. Danny Rohl's very fluid in his thinking, and he's using the squad very well, and he's protecting players where he needs to, and giving them minutes where he needs to as well. And he's really managed to develop a lot of players. And these guys like Tour Romans coming in, Chikwani coming in, Skov Olsen, Nadiri, these were great pieces of business, Stevie. Really, really shrewd pieces of business, analysing where the weaknesses are and bringing in people that can complement and improve the team. And that brings up the level of everybody at the club, Stevie. You know, everybody wants to play with better players. Of course they do. And it's improving the standard of the squad all round. And it's exciting to see, and it's wonderful, like you said, to go to a game with anticipation and positivity and optimism and feel that we're good enough to beat most teams in this league at a canter at the moment if we fulfil our potential and we do it in a manner where we're trying our absolute best. So yeah, really exciting. I'm with you. Tour Romans looks like just a masterclass. That guy, he looks so strong and powerful, going forward, tracking back. He's got a great engine on him. Nadiri looks exciting. He looks like he's quick for a big lad off the mark. He looks imposing. He hunts the ball down. Skov Olsen's been a little bit hot and cold, but you know, he made some great contributions to the game on Sunday. He set up one goal, I think, didn't he? And then he was involved in a second as well. So he's done brilliantly. Chikwani's been a wonderful find as well. And I think Chikwani does well with Dio beside him. I must admit, we'll talk about Livi on Sunday, but I'd love to see Dio in there with Chikwani and see what that does. Yeah, so really, really positive, Stevie, moving forward into Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Really looking forward to seeing how that progresses. I think that's the big thing. Like for example, like Chermiti, right? Quality hat trick last week, great goals at Parkhead, but then he goes 6 weeks without anything. What I need from Yusuf is to go to Livi on Sunday and bang in a couple and start to build up the momentum on his own game as well as collectively for the team. After Parkhead, we all expected him to kick on, and he didn't. Fair to say, he made more of a contribution. Yeah, absolutely, and he is making more of a contribution. But I need Yusuf Chermiti to find 10 goals between now and the end of the season, because those 10 goals will help us get to where we need to be. And that's got to be the big challenge. Individually and collectively, they've raised their game against Hearts. Now they need to go and do it again against Livingston and make sure that they're keeping those standards, that they've hit that energy, that drive. Rangers will have a massive support there on Sunday. There's no excuses. It is an away game, yes, but it's like a home game. We've got 3 ends, you know, and we should be going. And Livi will be tough. They'll be well set out. Marvin Bartley's our new manager, isn't he? Dave's went upstairs, so this is going to be a difficult one. We've got to go and try and just keep those standards, and that's the exciting challenge for me. When I go and watch them on Sunday, it's the challenge of that, the expectation of that, and every single game, the belief, if they can hit that, the belief will keep going just a wee bit more. And if we can get through Sunday, it sets us up perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. You're right. It is about standards, and it's about raising the bar continually and perpetually 1 week to the next. You can't rest on your laurels. Yes, we did great against Hearts, but that should be a launch pad for us now to continue to improve. And I'm with you on Chermiti. In my mind, I had, for this season to be successful for him and for us to have enough faith that he could potentially develop into the man that we need him to be, he needs to give us 15 goals this season. That's the number I had in my head. You said you want another 10 goals out of him. He's, on 7 just now, is that right? So we're basically in the same ballpark, you and I, about Chermiti. That's what we're looking at. So if he can give us that, Stevie, and I'm confident that given the right circumstances, given the amount of chances and the flair and the creation we've got in the team, I would like to think he can give us that. I think if he doesn't give us 15 goals this season, there's something wrong. And perhaps we need to say, well, listen, he does have a bit of talent. He does have some potential, but perhaps it's not going to be realised here at Glasgow Rangers. That doesn't mean to say he won't go on and be a good player elsewhere. But for us, you need to hit the ground running. He is only 21. We've got to caveat it with that as well. He's a young lad. A lot of expectation. They came with a big price tag, which we talk about. But you can see bits and pieces in him. I mean, look at that leap for that header, Stevie. He was like
All
a
3 goals
stallion.
last week were terrific.
Yes. Yeah, did really, really well. So you can see it in flashes, but we just need to see it a bit more consistently from the big man. That's the thing. And we wish him all the best and we want him to do well. We're behind him.
So,
and I know, yep.
Let's, on that, right, I'm quickly going to swing it to you. Is it fair to say, perhaps, for Chermiti, and the same as Nadiri and Miovski and everything else, that, and I think this is, we weren't creating chances for them before. But now when you've got Skov Olsen putting in a cross like that, or you've got Kasama finding them the way that we did, or we're able to counter-attack through Olsen, Moore, the way we did last week for his goals, surely there's a point to say, yes, he does need to score more, and yes, we maybe not scored enough yet. But as far as I'm aware, he's outscoring his XG, and that kind of says to me that we're not creating the chances. So our job with the signings we made, with Roman's been able to cross it, with obviously Olsen and stuff like that, maybe he's able to get more goals because we'll create more chances. So in fairness to him, I think that's probably worth bringing up.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look at Cyril Dessers. He needed, half a dozen chances to score one. Chermiti's not getting half a dozen chances in a game at the moment. So, yeah, I think we do need to caveat it. But as long as he continues to score and show flashes of what he can do, then I think we can stick with him and hopefully he'll continue to improve under Danny Rohl. Because I'll be honest with you, if there's any manager that's going to get the best out of this lad, it's Danny Rohl. And Danny Rohl's come out publicly on more than one occasion and backed the lad. So he obviously sees something. And some of us might not see it, but there's one thing for sure. I trust Danny Rohl and I trust his judgment. Not always. Motherwell, I think he got the team wrong, and I would say that 100%. I think that was wrong. But 9 times out of 10, I trust the decisions Danny Rohl makes. And then whenever we think he's wrong, he's vindicated, because inevitably the team he picks or the guys he picks are either scoring goals or they're winning games. So I trust his judgment without a doubt.
Yeah. As you said, he's not infallible. I don't think any manager is. We disagreed with him in Motherwell. But he's got more right. 95% of things right, I think, Danny Rohl, and I think he's brilliant. I really do. And I just hope we keep building and we keep doing this. So I'm excited about Livi, but a few mysterious injuries. Manager talked about it today. One's out for 2 or 3 weeks. One's got a little bit of a knock, might miss a game Sunday. So by powers of deduction, the internet went to work and they've devised that the ones not in the training pictures was, shock horror, Dujon Sterling and Ryan Nadiri. So now Nadiri did have a bit of a knock before Motherwell. Could it be that he's got just a wee knock and maybe won't make Sunday? Could it be that Dujon Sterling's out for another 2 to 3 weeks? It's difficult, isn't it? The good news is that Cornelius was back in training. So we seen him. Conor Barron's back in training. Hopefully he's back for the old firm as well, which is great for the squad. We're going to need everybody pushing in the running. But little mysterious knocks. There is a possibility that they're not playing because of the plastic pitch and stuff as well. But that's it. It's never nice to hear. Do you think he'll keep the 4-2-2 system that he kind of went with? Mikey Moore, I think the players kind of start themselves. I wouldn't be inclined to make many changes depending on the injury situation. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I wonder if Chermiti and Miovski would potentially start if Nadiri is out. Tav would obviously come back in, I would think, for Sterling. So apart from that, I'm pretty much thinking that it might be like for like.
Mm-hmm. I think that the whole Dujon Sterling thing doesn't really affect what I would have picked at Livi, because I wouldn't have played Dujon Sterling even if he was fit because of the plastic pitch, just to protect him, because the inevitable would happen and Sod's law would be that he's not available anyway. But as far as Sterling's concerned, Stevie, I'm at the stage now with Sterling, and this might cause some contention on the comments and from members, but for me, he is the best right back at the club just now. I agree with that. When he plays well. He gives everything for Rangers. There's absolutely no question about that. He's a consistent 7 or 8 performer every single time he's playing. The problem we have is that he's not available enough. That's the issue. And I think if Danny Rohl is trying to build a squad with the ambition that Rangers have, Dujon Sterling cannot be relied upon. So for me, if you've got a player in your team that is only available sporadically and can't give you that week on week on week on week, then I'm not sure that he's a requirement at the club anymore. I would be looking, in my opinion, to move Dujon Sterling on. I mean, look at the other flank, Stevie. By contrast, you've got a 19-year-old laddie at left back who's played over 40 games. He's made of steel. That lad is always available. It's not once where he's got injured or had a knock or whatever else. And he's 19 years old. And conversely, you've got someone like Dujon Sterling, who's an incredible footballer, very talented, great, strong, loves Rangers, and we love him. But the reality is that he's just not available enough, and he's too injury prone. Now, I know all players pick up injuries, Stevie. Of course they do. They're athletes. They're putting their bodies on the line week on, week out. They need time to recover. I get all of that. But we've not put a workload on Dujon Sterling since he has joined this club. And even at that, he's breaking. So I just can't see how you can build something prosperous and rely on someone that's just not available regularly enough. So for me, Tav comes in at right back, which he would have done anyway. I would be playing Romans at left back if he's available, which I hope he is. I would drop Souttar, I think, for similar reasons to Sterling. Plastic pitch. Just, try and save him for next Sunday. I'd be playing Jigga and Fernandez. I'd go with a 2-2-2. I'd drop Raskin. I'd play Chukwueze and Dio. I want to see that. In front of them, I'd keep Mikey Moore and Skov Olsen. And up top, I'd go Chermiti and Miovski. That would be my starting 11. I'd be looking to kill the game by 45 minutes, by half-time, and then I'd be making wholesale changes. I'd be bringing on Bajrami, I'd be bringing on Magoma if he's not playing, I'd be bringing on, who else have we got there? I'd bring Raskin on, give him a run around as well. I'd be making changes. I'd bring on Gasman. That's when Gasman does his best work. See, when everybody else is absolutely, Stevie, right, tired, wrecked, that's when Gasman comes on, the last 20 minutes, when the game's stretched and there's space and everybody's leggy. If you start Gasman when it's tight and it's chaotic and there's a lot of chasing down and everyone's got high levels of energy and tackles are flying in and you need to chase back and you need to be very aware of what's going on all the time and you need to have the engine up and down, up and down, up and down, keeping it tight. Gasman's lost in that environment. That's not where he excels. That is not an area of his game that is strong. It's an area he needs to develop. I accept that. But for who he is just now and what he offers, he does the damage in the last 20 minutes. And we've seen that on more than one occasion. So I think that's when you bring him on and let him run riot. Almost give him a free roll. Say, pick up that ball, wee man, and just go. Just run towards that goal. And by that point, people have picked up yellow cards as well. So he's getting away with a wee bit more because people aren't flying in the way they do in the first half. So that would be my team, Stevie. Controversial, perhaps. Maybe some people wouldn't drop Souttar, but I would. Maybe some people wouldn't drop Raskin. I get that. And I'd be going 2 up top again. Do it. I mean, Livi are the worst team in this league for a reason, Stevie. So I think they're there. Put them to the sword early doors and go for them. Steamroll them from the start. That would be what I want to see. None of this slow build-up, taking forever, slow play. I want to see quick, intricate passing with purpose, going forward, because that's when we do our best work, Stevie, when we move the ball quickly and we move forward with purpose and urgency. That's what I want to see on Sunday.
Just to be clear, folks, we are speculating on the injuries. We don't know that it's Dujon Sterling. He might have just went away for a pee and missed the pictures. We're going with speculation. We hope that nobody's injured. Of course we do. And on Big Dujon, we do really rate him as a player and we want him to be involved. So hopefully there's nothing like that. It's a podcast. We're speculating. We're talking about Rangers. John Souttar signs a new 1-year extension, Amrit, with the club being able to activate another year on top of that as well. What's your thoughts on that? It's been divisive, I think, online. I've seen a lot of opinions, some very pro, some very against. Where do you sit with John Souttar?
Stevie, for me, like every fan, I want Rangers to be successful. I have a huge amount of ambition when it comes to Rangers, and I want us to build a team wherein John Souttar is not our first choice centre-back. That's how good I want us to be. So I think in order for us to get back to where we belong and where we demand to be, which is winning league titles, winning trophies domestically, competing in Europe. To get there, you cannot do that, in my opinion, with John Souttar as your first choice centre-back. I think John Souttar has a huge contribution still to make to this club. And I think it's very good business from the club. It's very shrewd to give him another year, because John Souttar's contribution to Rangers is more than just what he does on the pitch. I think him and Tav as well, both of them now are not as good as they used to be, I don't think. So I understand why they're only getting a year, in Tav we don't know about yet. But it's important for other players to be around the orbit of Tav and Souttar, because of their influence, their mentality, what they can help, what they can support to other players that are coming into the club, to teach them what it means to play for Rangers, to help younger players develop and move on. So they still have a huge contribution to make. I think next season, I'd like to see John Souttar and Tab maybe getting 15, 20 games a season, playing 45 minutes there, 60 minutes here, away games during the week, maybe in the league, European games that maybe don't mean much, or we've already qualified. These kind of games is where I'd want to see them. I think in the big games, if we want to be ambitious as a club, which I think is something we all want, we need to have a better starting centre-half than John Souttar. And notwithstanding the fact that he's still a very good player, and I think he's brilliant as a complement to the squad, but certainly not the first choice for me, is what I would say.
Interesting. I like John Souttar. I think that he's not done as well as he probably should have. I think that he's looked better since he's come back from injury. He's certainly looked leaner and fitter. But he's got a mistake in him. I think he should have defended the header against Braga last week a lot better. So I understand the reservations surrounding him. He is Scottish. He adds to the coefficient. I quite like the boy we're linked with at Dundee, Luke Graham. I think he's a good player, left-sided and things. I think he's decent. Could Souttar mentor somebody like that? Johnny said this morning, you think you get more out of John Souttar if he was playing a bit part and more or less regularly, which is a point, I suppose. But John Souttar hasn't kicked on how I thought he should have after Connor Goldson left the club, which I thought he should have been a ready-made replacement. He hasn't turned out to be. So that's difficult because he'll be judged on that. I think 1 year with the option is good business for the club. Somebody made the point, and I think they're right. The years of giving players 4-year contracts and things can't happen anymore. So John Souttar, for me, I think it's good business. I think a year is absolutely fine, and I'm quite happy with that, Amrit. So yeah, John's a good guy to have around the club, and I think that's where I am with it. Whether or not he would start depends on how he's playing, because John Souttar, when he's good, is good. When he's not, he's liable. So that's the fairest way. I would say, however, that John Souttar and Manny Fernandez are fairly comfortable together. There's a brain fart in each of them, and I think they both cost us goals against Hearts. But realistically, they're probably our strongest competition. So it's going to be interesting with Cornelius back as well to see how that works. The next big one to discuss, Amrit, ticket allocation for the cup game on the 8th. Celtic have got the Broom loan. I will tell you that the club's hands were pretty much tied with this. They were told, fix it, come to an agreement, and if you don't, we'll step in. And if they were stepping in, we would get 10,000 Celtic fans. So we've done a deal, we've come to an agreement, they get the whole Broom loan. Am I happy with it? No, I would rather our fans are first. Am I happy that we get stuck in the corner and they get prime view when they come to us? No, I'm not. Again, safety issues, etc. Doesn't really sit right with me. Would I like to have seen the club be stronger and just say no European allocation, blah, blah, blah? Then yeah, but I think the way it's been described to us, the hands of the club were pretty much tied, feet held to the fire, so to speak. Disappointing for our fans. I hope that nobody misses out season ticket wise. And yeah, it's going to be an atmosphere, but it's Rangers' responsibility to make sure that Celtic on that day, just like the league next week, go home and they're unhappy. And we should be making Ibrox a raucous atmosphere no matter what kind of support they have in. So it's going to be interesting back to the old days, the old allocation and things like that. For the away fans that go everywhere, I can see why people would want that. I'm actually in favour of more away fans and bigger allocations and things. I'm not in favour of 700 when we go to Tynecastle and everything else and looking at empty seats at Easter Road while we get stuck in the corner and all that. I think there needs to be, if Hibs give us a stand, do they get the European allocation? If they can sell the tickets, then we do it. So it's going to, I think there needs to be, I think Scottish football's kind of eating itself to death a wee bit. So I can see, and I would like to see, more for our away fans and things like that. So it's one of these ones that opens up a massive conversation. We look after our own first, I absolutely get it. I'm interested to see where you are on it. It's another very polarising and divisive conversation.
Yeah, well, the Broom loan thing directly affects me, Stevie, because that's where I sit. So I've been directly affected by this decision. And now, fortunately, I've got a seat in another area of the ground. And you know me, I'll talk to anyone anyway. So whether they want to talk to me or not is a different story. But I'm going to be there. But there are going to be some people in the Broom loan that aren't. And personally, the people I sit around, there's about 10 or 15 of us that all know each other really well from going to the games for years. And there's a great spirit there, a great bit of guys, and we sit up the back of the Broom when we have a laugh and we really enjoy our time together. So I am upset that I'm not going to get to share in this special moment with guys who I'm fond of and whose company I enjoy. So that's, here we go. You just can't let us have our moment. You've got to get your tuppence worth in. You've got to come in and take the limelight from me, my first 1-1. Big Kenny comes in. All right, lads, what's happening? Stevie, cancel him. Just put a cross through him. Shut him up, mute him. Beat it.
I told him it was 7:30. We start again. Hi, Kenny. This is unexpected. How are you?
I just couldn't believe it when I seen the group chat, mate, and you said with 20 minutes to go, what we're talking about for Amrit to say, we'll just wing it. I thought I'd better come and check up on you, man, what you're about. I'm sitting at a loose end, so I thought I'd come and annoy you, pair of you.
I thought you would have enjoyed like some, one-to-one time with Tracy and, a little cuddle on the couch, no?
She's heavily deep into the Epstein stuff, so I'll leave her to it, mate.
Right, okay. Doom scrolling.
Yes.
Kenny, we were just talking about Broom on allocation. Amrit, finish off what you were saying and then Kenny jump in.
Yeah, so for me, I'm upset that I'm not getting to share that special moment with the people who I'm fond of. But on the other side of it, Stevie, you've got some guys who are not on the credit card scheme and they're going to miss out. And I feel for them because a lot of them are maybe not on the credit card scheme purely because from financial perspective. So if you look at it, you imagine a father and a son who have got a season ticket in the Broom loan. Let's say the father's season ticket is going to be 600 or 700 quid. The concession will be 300 or 400. So that's £1,000 for a dad to take his son to the football. And because of the continuous credit card scheme, he's thinking, well, okay, if I've got a couple of European qualifiers in the summer, I've got a European package to pay for, I've got cup games to pay for. If we go further in Europe, that's another couple. So all of a sudden, that dad's thinking, £1,000 for my season book, plus an extra 500 quid, say, in the extra games for the son and the father. That's another 500 quid, Steve. It's a lot of money for people to commit to. And those are the ones that are going to miss out. So when the son turns around to the dad and says, Dad, we've got Celtic in the quarterfinal at Ibrox, how amazing is that? And then he's got to turn around to his son and say, I'm sorry, young man, we can't go. That's devastating. No kid or anybody should have to feel that pain. That's where my heart goes, Steve. I really feel for a lot of people because money shouldn't give you access to these type of things, because the guys who are on continuous credit card scheme are getting it, and I'm included. But it's just hard. I feel torn because they should be at the game and they're not going to be there. These are guys that were maybe at Queen's Park when a lot of other people on the continuous credit card scheme wouldn't have been there. They'd have said, I'll sit in the house, I'm not going to go and see that. But the Celtic game's on and they're there. But it's one of them, right? I mean, You can make pros and cons for both of it. Ultimately, the last thing I ever want to see is that our fans are disappointed. And unfortunately, because of this, that's what's happened. And my heart goes out to the ones that aren't going to get the tickets. It really, really does. I'm sitting in the club deck that day, so I'm going to have to take my binoculars with me, I think. But I've not been up there for a while, so it'll be interesting. But it's not the broom lawn. I mean, the broom lawn's where all the animals sit, Stevie. That's where all the main boys sit, in the broom lawn. That's where it's rocking. And do you know what? Another thing, people are saying, oh, Celtic shouldn't get the allocation and all the rest of it. Apart from the fact that our fans are disappointed, I'm absolutely delighted that there's going to be 7,500 of them there when Chermiti rattles a hat-trick in at the Broomloan end and stands there like that and says, what? Bring it on. There you go, up the road with a fucking smile on your faces if you want. Hey, try it. We've done the business. I want that to happen, Stevie, because that will bring a sense of joy to so many Rangers fans, and that's what they need. And it's going to happen twice. Okay, there's not going to be as many there for the league game. We get that. But they're going to get sent home with their tail between their legs twice in 7 days, and I can wait for it.
That's your meaty hat trick.
Boom. Done it once, he'll do it again. He loves a goal against them, Stevie. You know that.
I think the old pistachio ice cream's got to your head. Kenny, jump in, mate, and save
I've
me.
missed you, Amrit, mate. My goodness. What do I feel about it? Disappointing for a lot of folk in the Broomland, that's for sure. I'm not quite sure exactly how many people are going to have to get relocated, but listen, it's the rules, isn't it? They're entitled to 20%, so it could have been as many as 10,000 or 10,500, something like that. So it's really disappointing, and there's not much I can, actually add to what Amrit said there. There's a little bit of me feels that Rangers should have bit back and just said, no, let's see what you can do, and leave it to the policing, because there's no way the police would have given them 10,000. They just wouldn't have, Stevie. So there was a little bit about, of a feeling about that for me, was to turn around and say, right, let's take it to all the authorities then, because I don't know, I just don't really particularly want them in. I am that simple. I'd rather there was a tiny, dozen or two of them in the corner as it is, and I don't really know what else to say about this, actually, because Amrit has actually covered it quite well. For me, it's just one of those things. It's disappointing for people that are going to miss out. However, it is the rules of the cup that you're entitled to 20%. So there's a deal being made, and as long as it's reciprocated the next time it happens away from home. But you and I know that they're not to be trusted with stuff like this. So no, disappointing is what I would say. Well, follow Amrit on that one at all.
Kenny, as you know, like, any deal for us to get tickets for there is pointless, because we've not had an away tie in 800 years, according to that lot. So hot balls and all that sort of stuff, and you know how we love them. Kenny, Danny Rohl compared Ryan Nagiri to Thomas Muller today. I thought that was a bit of an insult to Ryan Nagiri personally. Clearly a brilliant comparison. I think I can see what Chris says about a Yelovich in him, that kind of style of movement and things like that. I just like him. I said it instantly when I seen him. This boy's going to be good. Really liked him. And I haven't seen anything that changes my mind on that at all. High praise, though, from Danny Rohl.
Incredibly high praise from Danny Rohl. Thomas Miller's a fantastic player. He always has been. I think it's a little bit. I don't know what the context was, because I've been busy at work today, so I haven't seen or read the press conference back. But talk about putting.
Hey, hold on a wee second. I went past your work today at approximately 4:10, and I looked in, and you were sitting on your arse.
Do you want to know why that was? I'll tell you this. I'm going to name check the guy. My 4 o'clock was a boy called Chris McGuire, and he stoated in at 4:15. I wasn't very happy, but he did message me saying he was stuck in traffic. So, geez, peace, mate.
That 15 minutes, you clearly could have listened to Danny.
No, that is true. You're absolutely spot on. The boy came in at exactly 4:15. So you didn't bother stopping and coming in and saying hello or anything like that. You just drove past. Yeah.
Aye, well, you don't sell sweets. There's no point. You
Well,
cut hair, mate. I've got no need to go into your house.
Pointless
You know?
trying to cut your hair, mate. Now, listen, on that Ryan Nadiri, huge praise, fantastic, thing for him to say. I found that when I read it a little bit over the top, but at the same time, listen, I can see what he actually means in terms of the kind of play in and around the box. He's got that kind of all-round game to him. So fair play to Danny Rohl for actually saying something that was quite out there, actually. And what I did see when I seen a tiny little bit of it on Rangers Twitter, it was just a still, but he seemed to have a bit of a smirk on his face. So I thought, yeah, that's quite nice. I quite like the fact that he's turning around and putting a little bit of pressure on the kid as well. So yeah, because as I say, I'm like you. I've been hugely impressed with Ryan Nadiri since the minute he walked in the door. Even how humble he's been, but the performances more than anything else have been fantastic. So if he can be up there with the type of, that kind of level of player as Thomas Muller during his career, then we've got a hell of a player in their hands.
Yeah, we absolutely would have. Amrit, talk of Arsenal, Man City, Bayern Munich and Dortmund all having an interest in Manny Fernandes. Again, this goes to people are scouting now with stats, and people are scouting with your XGs and all that kind of stuff, and your percentages of tackles and all that kind of thing. And Manny Fernandes is high ratings, and I can understand why a young guy like that, he seems to have a high ceiling. But this is excellent for Rangers. Manny Fernandes, the interest in Yusuf Chermiti, Jerry Gassama. You look at others that have come in, and obviously the more the performances are better, you start to think that maybe we're building something quite special here with players that are garnering that interest. And they're not going to be, listen, we all talk about Jerry Gassama and we expect so much of him and we're quite critical. £10 million from Monaco, and we said no to that. We all lambast big Chermiti, don't we? And this was before last weekend, and 13 million for him. Manny Fernandes, Rangers will be looking for north of £15 million before we even sit down and talk to them. Peterborough have got a big sale on. So if Manny Fernandes goes in the summer, that's mega money for us, 15 million upwards. And that's before we even go to the table. So this is all hugely positive for Rangers, and I take it as a bit of a compliment. Teams like that looking at him, I can understand. Maybe see a bit of a kind of Kurt Zuma in him, minus the kicking of the cats and stuff like that. But I've seen Chelsea fans talking about him and kind of referencing the similarities, which I can kind of see. So it's interesting. Again, I feel like it's a huge compliment for Rangers, the job Danny Rohl's doing. And remember, this guy didn't get a look in for 8 weeks under Russell Martin, and then we found out maybe he was injured, maybe he wasn't. So it's really interesting. It's going to be hilarious when we win the league at the end of the season and Kevin Thelwell turns out to be an absolute genius.
Well, Stevie, around the interest in Fernandes, I'm not surprised by it, because he's played extremely well this season. He has all the attributes of a modern day centre half. He's big, he's strong, he's powerful, he reads the game well, he's good in the air, he's obviously got that height advantage. There are areas of his game that need improvement, like everyone. I think one of them is that he needs to be quicker on the ball. There's a lot of delay sometimes when he's got the ball at the back. He looks to pass the ball one way, he stops for a second or two, and then he sends the ball to the same place he was originally going to send it anyway. But that delay allows other teams to get in better position. So I think he needs to be a little bit more confident, trust his gut instinct when he's got the ball about where he wants to send it, and have the confidence to do it quickly, because that's when we do well. That when we're fluid and moving the ball quickly is when we have success. So that's the area that I think he needs to work on. But I'm not surprised by the interest. He's had a very good season. He's always been available. We haven't had issues with him being injured. I can't remember him being injured. Maybe he's picked up a knock here or there, but never for any extended period of time. So I'm not surprised. I think with the interest in Gassama and players like that, Stevie, we want to now try and develop a reputation as a club, to my mind, where we spot talent, we develop talent, and we produce talent. That's the kind of personality I think our club needs to develop, and players like Gassman and Fernandez fit that bill. I think it's a great ground for players to come and learn about high-paced, powerful, strong, physical football with a lot of expectation on your shoulders. Playing for Rangers teaches you a lot more than just football. It teaches you what it means to play with a heavy weight of responsibility on your back. You carry that with you into every single game when you're a Rangers player. There's a weight that's attributed to being a Rangers player. So players that come to Rangers learn an awful lot, not just about football, but about life. And I think that we have the perfect ground for developing players into superstars potentially. And I think Danny Rohl's the man to do that. I really do. And if we can continue to spot talent, Stevie, and bring them in economically viable, and develop them and push them on and make money, then why not? Because everyone's for sale, Stevie. People say, oh no, that guy's too good, you can't sell him. Everybody, if the money's right, as far as I'm concerned, everybody's for sale. But the money has to be right. And like you say with Fernandez, I'm not sitting down at a table unless somebody's talking 15, 20 million. Make it serious. Make it something we can consider, because otherwise you're just wasting our time. Well, you're wasting your time, but more importantly, you're wasting our time.
Tour Romans isn't for sale. Never. He's staying for the rest of his life. Kenny, it is flattering, and it's quite the coup, I think, for Rangers to have that level of interest in teams like that looking at our players, and I take it as a huge positive.
Well, this is all data driven, isn't it? I mean, we've signed most of these guys in the summer because it's all data driven, and what they've done is turn up here and they're improving by the month. That you can see that the improvement in Chermiti, the improvement in Manny Fernandez, Jerry Gassama's he's inconsistent, but he's got an end product to him. The stats are good in all three of these guys. I think what bodes well for that is I'm with Amrit. I wouldn't be looking at anything less than 20 million quid, because I don't see the point. I think we need him for next season, so it needs to be a stupid offer for me to even consider it. I think there's far too much work to be done on the defence in the summer for us to consider selling a player unless it's for stupid money. I also think that for the club, I think that we must be, how would I put this? We must be kind of, causing some waves with guys like Jaden McComa and Mikey Moore, who are two teenage boys who are playing, they're in Premier League clubs in England, and they're coming up here, and you can see the improvement in them as well. Mikey Moore in particular, who started really quite slowly, took a time to adjust and had the difficulty with his permit and stuff like that. So the wee stop starts, beginning to his Rangers career. Jaden McComa has come in and been ultra consistent. I'll give him that. But they're getting better. You can see them growing as players, growing as from kids to men. And we are clearly catching the eye of a number of clubs in bigger leagues, and that can only be good for us, Stevie. Even in terms of the buying and selling is one thing, but even in terms of getting, say, Mikey Moore, I'd love to have Mikey Moore for another season, but if you don't get him, then you can go to another Premier League club and say, look what we did with Mikey Moore. And that's the type of thing that we are clearly creating waves with this. I think that the recruitment, where we all kind of felt we were all slightly wary of signing so many players from lower leagues and stuff like that. But when you actually see what they've done and they've managed to build on, and that is all credit, as Amrit has said, to Danny Rohl and managing to construct a football team out of a chaos that he was left with. So what he's managed to do is quite simply just get it together, sort out the defence, sort leaking the goals, and that's where, and then from there he's built on that. But that's where Manny Fernandez is catching the attention. He's 6'6" or whatever it is. He's built like a man mountain. He's great at set pieces. He's been solid defensively. He's still learning. He's still got that. He's having to take that level up, with all respect, from Peterborough to Rangers. But he's getting better, and his concentration. He was frustrating me a little bit in the first half on Sunday, as you know, Stevie, where he was standing on the ball, putting his foot in the ball and slowing it down a little bit. That's got to get taken out of his game. But highly noticeable that in the second half, obviously one of the coaches, whether it be Danny Rohl or one of his team, have turned around and said to him at half-time, speed it up, because everything was much, much quicker in the second half, which proves and shows that he's taken the message on board, Stevie, because a lot of players don't take messages like that on board during a game. So fair play to him. And yeah, that's what I would say, mate. Honestly, that I wouldn't be looking at anything less than 20 million quid. When you see, what's that boy's name, Engels across the city, and they've been offered £20 million for him, give it peace. Honestly, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful to the boy himself, because he's a good player. He's not a 20 million quid player in my eyes, and if he is, then Manny Fernandez is worth more.
No, ruffle a few feathers, which I like. I didn't see it, so that's fine by me. Amrit, pleasure as always, my friend. We look forward to Sunday. You've got to find me a ticket, so get moving with that, young man.
Honestly, I've asked all my contacts, Steve. Do you know what I was saying to you earlier on? But this has been the one that is never an issue to get a ticket for Livi in years gone by. But for some reason, at the moment, everyone I've spoke to is short. People are looking for them, supporters, buses, everything. Everybody's clambering for tickets, and a lot of people who usually get them aren't getting them. So I don't know what the score is. Maybe all the armchair glory hunters are out sweeping up all our tickets, Steve, eh? But listen, I'll be there, so that's the main thing. But Steve, I'll do the vlog, right? But if I can get you one, we can do a vlog together. But I'll hopefully get you one. Fingers crossed. If anybody's out there and I've asked you for a ticket, get back to me, will you?
Yeah. Amrit will give you some free ice cream as well.
Yes,
Kenny,
I will. Absolutely.
Kenny, our favourite curling enthusiast. Thank you, mate.
Well, thank you. I just was terrified when I read those messages. I thought, what are they two going to do? I should have known better. Absolute professionals, a pair of you, and not a hair in sight here. So thanks for having me on, because I wasn't quite sure when I turned up that you were going to actually stick me on it. I just seen your wee smirk and I thought, oh.
Kenny, you're the OG. You're always welcome, my man. Yeah. What can I say, ladies and gentlemen? It's been a pleasure. Thousands watching us on a Friday evening, which we really appreciate. Huge thank you to our sponsors, Rhino Express, Cliveview Fire Protection, and Joinery Athol Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, our very own Candid from our main man Amrit, and our Sunday sponsor, John, and the team at Local Dart Shop Online. What a pleasure, honestly, to bring you Four Lads in a Dream. We thoroughly enjoy it. We hope that you enjoy the content we do. Your numbers and support are incredible. If you haven't, please like and subscribe on YouTube. We are coming live to Belfast on March the 28th, Saturday evening. Really looking forward to bringing the team there. The links, the tickets are on sale. They're £12.50 each. You can get them in the description of the show. If anybody needs one, please get in contact. They are for sale. They're doing really well at the moment, so we're really looking forward to taking our little show to Belfast in Northern Ireland and see the wonderful Rangers support there. So if you live over there, if you want to make the journey, come and see us. We are playing Belfast Rangers Supporters Club on Banton Street, I think it is. So come and have a look. Items, the link and the tickets are in the description. So have a great weekend. We'll be back Sunday with a vlog, which may or may not include me, but will definitely include Amrit. And then Sunday show, we'll be back Sunday evening with Rob and his team. Thank you as ever, everybody. Please like, subscribe if you haven't on YouTube. That really helps us grow. Have a brilliant Friday. Have a great weekend. And yeah, more power to the Rangers on Sunday. Good luck to the team and the manager, and we'll speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.
Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.